I'm Eloise Long. I'm the chair of the Department of Library Science and Instructional Technology here at Kuztown University. How did I get to be a librarian? It was way back in 7th grade when actually she's my mentor and recently passed away. Sarah Mack was the chair of the Department of Library Science here back when I was in high school. She came to a career day out at Brandywine High School and sold me on the idea of becoming a librarian. I was a librarian in the Parkland School District in elementary school and the Wilson School District elementary school, and supervised student teachers while I was out in the field. When an opening came up here at Kuztown, I thought, oh, that's exactly what I would like to do. I would like to teach future school librarians. I got my doctorate at Kuztown University in educational leadership, and after that applied for the job left vacant by Carol Gerhardt. I have my undergraduate degree from Kuztown in library science, and I have my MLS from Kuztown also in library science. Both of my grandfathers went to Kuztown. My mom and dad went to Kuztown. My kids went to Kuztown. So I am a Kuztown born and bred librarian. What do I like most about my job? I teach children's literature, and I think that's one area of librarianship that is often looked over in the age of all the technology that's out there. And I think we have to still make sure that we're concentrating on children's literature and providing good literature for our kids and young adults. When parents come in with their potential freshmen, I say librarians are jack of all trades, Jacqueline of all trades. However, they do a little bit of everything. I always say I know a little bit about a lot of things. I don't know a lot about any one thing, and I think that's the best part of being a librarian. In a school library, you're technology driven, you're literature driven, you work with students, you work with parents, you work with faculty, you work with principals. You're really a teacher of all teachers. You stay up on your new literature that's out there in the field. The big event in a librarian's life is going to ALA Midwinter Conference, when all of the huge awards are given, when the Newbery and Caldecott Awards are given out. It's an exciting time to see what's new out there in the field. So what do? A little bit of everything. We produce videos for our principals, for our teachers. We teach our kids how to produce videos. We're involved in every aspect of the school. What does one study in library science here at Kuztown in the school library program? I often get that question because librarians will say, oh, what do I have to do to become a librarian? And I'll say, well, you could take our courses here at Kuztown to become a librarian. You would take a children's literature course, a young adult literature course, collection development, so that you know what kinds of books you need to have on the shelf, and how to deal with situations that may arise because of a challenge. You need library administration, because you're not only a teacher, you have a lot of library classes, but you also manage a program, so you need a lot of administrative background. You deal with budget, you deal with staff, you deal with volunteers, you deal with so many different aspects that a lot of people don't realize how many hats a librarian wears. You would take courses in reference, so you know what material's out there, what electronic databases are out there. You do a teaching methods. The standards are under review as we speak, and there's so many standards that need to be addressed. With the new Common Core standards coming out in Pennsylvania, it's even more important that the librarians are aware of all of these aspects of librarianship. How has the role of the librarian changed, and how has the perception of the librarian changed? Well, we all know the perception of the librarian. We know that the perception is that she wears a little bun in her hair and she has the glasses slipping down over her nose, and she shushes people as they come into the library. We hope that we're in the process of changing that perception of librarians, the stereotype. However, if you watch any of the TV shows or any movies, it's still out there. How has the role changed? Well, I think technology is the biggest role that has really changed. If librarians are not embracing technology, they're way behind in the times, because the electronic databases, all of the production of materials. It used to be enough to just find materials for students. Here's the latest book on Cuba, but now it's become, how do we use these books? How do we evaluate the information that we find, and how do we use the information? And that means being able to present the information to others, being able to make a video, make a PowerPoint, make something that will help to share the information with others. Well, if you go into a public library during the summer and see the summer library programs, and you see how many children and parents are there doing their summer library and learning about good books and literature, I don't think you would even ask the question, because there's so many people using all of our libraries for that reason. If you go in during the week at the computers, you will see people looking for jobs. People who do not have access. We kind of take things for granted that everybody has access to a computer, and that's not accurate. So the libraries are very useful for accessing internet and accessing job-related activities. In the schools, you're going to talk to kids, and you'll talk to teachers as well, who will say, well, what do we need librarians for? All we need to do is Google it. There's so much misinformation out there that it's still up to the librarian in the school to teach how to evaluate information and how to get good information, how to cut down on your search time, and how to make sure that you have authoritative sources. One of the really different things I think that we're doing especially with our graduate program, is we're requiring hands-on experience in almost all of our classes. It used to be that we had a capstone class where it was 100 hours at the end of your time here, where you needed to put time into a library setting. What we started to do now was require hands-on experience during each class. For instance, when you're taking cataloging class, you have some fieldwork hours where you actually go out and catalog. When you are doing the teaching function class, you actually go out into a classroom, into a library, and teach a library class, or find out more about how the librarian is involved in a classroom setting. When you have a reference class, you go out into the field and find out what is actually being done in the schools and public libraries as far as reference is concerned. So I think that's one of the really big things, the hands-on experience that we try to give our students. I think a lot of people think that it's a dying out field, and I would just like to encourage everybody to look around. It's not a dying out field. It's a very vibrant field. It's a field where you get to enjoy a little bit of everything. It's the literature, it's the technology, it's the working with people. I was just down at a huge public library this past week, and it was just bubbling with activity. I don't see it as a dying out field. I see it as a very energetic, up and coming field.